All right, welcome to our new global media talk show. Today is April 6th, 2025. So today we have our guest here, Muhammad Koka. Muhammad Koka has a story that we are going to look at. Muhammad Koka's journey as a young scholar. So he's going to give us some of the challenges and how he get this far in his career. So Muhammad, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I have my co-host Ousman Camara and Sam Ceesay also will be joining us. Ousman, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so very much, Mr. Sawaneh. Thank you.
Thank you. And Famara also perhaps will join us later on. So let's go right into it. Mr. Coca, what make your story different? I know a lot of people have been going through this a lot of challenges in their lives and become successful. The reason why we are having you here, you must have something that is really different and stand out, so that our viewers can relate to. So welcome, and then just get us right in.
Yeah, thank you so much once again for having me. I'm really glad to be here. Um, so I'm really looking forward to the conversation. So to go in straight to introduce myself once again, my name is Mohammed Koka. I am from the Gambia, obviously from Talinding, but I was born in Banjo, but raised in Talinding actually. So my story is simple. I mean, I've gone through a lot. I came from a very humble background, and a lot has happened over the years. I did my junior school in St. Teresa's, and then my high school in Nizrat. And then when I graduated from Nizrat, I wanted to study in the US. Basically, I didn't want to do my university in Gambia when I started, but then that's the mindset I had because we actually thought that the University of the Gambia is a useless training ground in code, as in what people say to us. And most of the time, what I realized afterwards is the people that say that are usually not university students. I mean, not from the University of the Gambia. So along the way, I struggled a lot, honestly, in terms of starting earlier because I graduated in 2016 and I was supposed to start in September 2016 at the University of the Gambia. However, I could not because I didn't have the required resources, which includes tuition fees in order to be able to pay for my undergrad. So I started looking for other options, which included raising funds for me to be able to start at least for the first semester and continue with the rest along the way. So that's when I started, because I was very good in math, still very good, but I hope I have it in me anyway. So I started providing like university students with, high school students with classes in mathematics, accounting, economics, and so on and so forth. And I was actually doing at a fee. And then like these were the funds that I was able to gather at some point and use for my tuition. But then it wasn't enough. So there was this particular job that I went. I mean, I applied to a lot of internship opportunities. Like I applied to a lot of job opportunities. I could not get like corporate jobs, but I could not get. So I didn't just stop there. I even went on to like apply for other like informal jobs like restaurants and stuff, just so I could get something, just so I could be able to, raise funding for my tuition for the undergrad. But then I could not even have that. So I said to myself that if this is how hard it is in this country to like get a job, like what can I do for myself to raise funds? So I met one of my friends who was doing this daily job. I don't know if you know what lebres means. Lebres is basically in Wolof, it means like a day job that I did
Yeah,
at
we
the
know we
beginning
know
of
we
the
know
year.
that. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Yes, so I did lebres. My friend introduced me to some guy. There was a project going on, like a contractor, and then I went there for like a week. I was going back and forth just to get that job. Even to get that job was really hard for me. So it took me like 5 days to get it. And then when I got it, I was paid daily 150. And then I was able to be there for like 2 months. And then this is how I was able to like gather funding, including the classes I was doing along the way, which I used afterwards to like pay for my first year tuition at the University of the Gambia. And then I started in 2017 February, but I registered in January and all. So this is what got me in. While I was in the university, I still kept doing my uh, classes and also getting funding in order to proceed with my education. And then my dad had to like go extra mile, take loans for me to be able to be paying upfront, especially considering the next semester was coming up. So yeah, basically this is how it all started. Fast forward, I made it through first year, and then second year I also started, networking with a lot of students, and I was able to like have a good name at the university with good grades. So not only did I stop at providing, students with classes, I also started providing tutoring classes for university students, especially freshmen. That was in my second year, you know, which was my second year, second semester. It was basically a very, very interesting experience because I was training some of them on principles of accounting one and taxation. So along the way, I realized that I am not the kind of a person that, you know, um, wants to be like behind the desk handling financial transactions or like having to do with office works under an AC. I'm very action oriented. I like to be in the loop. I like to be, taking action, making things happen, like making a change directly instead of just, having a desk job. So this is what actually prompted my desire to like continue helping people in any way that I can. And that path is what brought me where I am today. So yeah, it has been tough actually, but then yeah, when I was even studying at the university, my aim was to like do entrepreneurship, but there was no entrepreneurship curriculum at the University of Gambia, so I had to do accounting. But then I knew I was going to be able to synchronize my accounting skills with whatever entrepreneurship dream that I have in the long run. So in my third year, I found myself getting an internship opportunity at an institution, and I was able to build my capacity in that institution where I was trained on business development, and then I handled projects as assistant programs coordinator, where I worked with a lot of young entrepreneurs across the country and trained them on how to start and improve on their own businesses. So while I was doing this, I was also elected as the finance minister of the University of the Gambia Student Union. So it all actually boils down to me having to be directly making impact, like not have a desk job. So that is what that is the path I continued. Like that is the journey I took. So while I was having these multiple tasks at the same time, I was struggling with balancing my school, my work, and my extracurricular activities. So this is why I resigned from after 2 years. I resigned from my institution where I worked because I had to defer like my semesters just for me to be able to pay my tuition because I was having projects in like up countries where I go to and like spend weeks, conducting trainings and stuff. So I was missing a lot of classes. So it was actually very crazy for me. So that coupled with the fact that I wasn't having enough resources to pay for my tuition, I was um, I was so pressured at the time. So I started deferring my semesters from one semester to the next, from one semester to the next, and then it went up to 2 years plus. So in 2024, when I graduated from, sorry, when I resigned from my institution, I stood at I focused on the elected position I was provided, which was basically a very 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 crazy story because the reason why I resigned was because the institution claimed to not be able to compromise my extracurricular curricular activities, but they can only compromise my school. So I had to resign because they wanted me to actually resign from the student union that I was serving because according to them it is not going to help me in any way. It's just going to reach in my CV, so I need to resign from there and focus on the institution, because I've been training like young people, so that impact is more important and stuff. So I I later realized that my personal development is equally very important, and the same way I committed to working with the institution is the same way was sworn in to stay the affairs of the students of the University of the Gambia. So this is why I decided to, resign from that institution and continue with my path. So I didn't only stop there. I started during the COVID-19 when it hit. I started providing videos for young entrepreneurs. Videos on entrepreneurship, like we use technical business assessment tools and share with them. And this is what we do through video episodes and share with them, because we know we could not have like direct trainings with them at the time because of the shutdown of our activities. So along the way, after COVID-19, I found myself working in a project where I had to work directly with farmers. So this is where everything started to change. I've seen that a lot of young startups, a lot of NGOs, social enterprises in the Gambia are focused more on, farm, like different entrepreneurs from various industries. That includes those that are from tech, those that are in the tech industry, those that are in the fashion industry, those that are in the art industry, agriculture, and so on and so forth. All of them combined and provided with the same methodology, trained in the same room, which I believe can be okay, but then this is not, I feel like it is not going to help them at all in terms of impact, in terms of sustainability. So imagine having someone in the same class who has never been to school with someone who has graduated from the university, but they both have businesses. So it's quite difficult for everyone like to understand in the same way. However, analyzing this issue, I am more, I was more into like providing solutions, like thinking about what the problems are and coming up with solutions. So while I was working directly with these farmers on a project that I worked on back uh, a few years ago, I realized that most of these farmers are really, majority of the farmers in the Gambia are women, like over 50% of them are women, and most of these farmers, are illiterates. They lack financial resources, and they produce over 40% of the food that you and I consume on a daily basis. So I knew that with all these problems that they're faced with, I could do something about it, you know. So this is what gave me the passion to like focus more on the sector, to provide them with the opportunity, to provide them with the platform that they need to thrive. So I initiated the Agro Incubation Hub, a non-profit organization that supports young people and women farmers to adopt sustainable farming practices such as the growing of food using domestic and environmental waste as compost, the installation of like irrigation technologies that enables them to harvest year round without depending on rain, and renewable energy in farmlands, greenhouse techniques, and all these sustainable methods, just so they can be able to improve their agricultural productivity. And coupled with that, we provide them with business trainings as well through green entrepreneurship. We have this particular methodology that I am certified as a regional trainer on. It's called the Farmer Business School training methodology, where I support these people, through business training, so they can be able to like change their mindsets, because you realize that you know uh, the problem of the Gambia is not just some of the issues that we claim are. I think it's the mindset that people have. So you realize that majority of the people who are farmers in the Gambia are subsistence farmers, and the reason why they've been, some of them will tell you that it's because generations, their forefathers have been in this system. Their forefathers have been doing subsistence. So why would they change to do commercial? This is what they've been doing to feed themselves and their families. So having to change their mindset, this is really a problem. So this is basically why we decided to come up with a behavioral modification model, where we instill in them a mindset that would enable them to transition from subsistence farming practice to commercialization. And so far, we've been able to train a lot of people, especially women, on how to manufacture their own compost using kitchen waste or domestic waste or environmental waste. We've also trained them on business development, where most of them have been able to now take farming as a sustainable business and not just a livelihood. So with these, I was still doing these things while I was going to school, you know, and it is one of the reasons why I have been in the university for like 7 years, because yes, I have been looking forward to getting my tuition, but then I have been engaged in voluntary works for over 5 years. And most of these voluntary works that I've been doing, I've not been paid for, and I've not been, even though I know that I need funding to pay for my tuition for me to be able to complete in time, but then I knew what I was doing. I knew that making a change is something that I want to do, and I had a dream, I had a vision, and that vision is what actually kept me going. So I didn't really worry about my education, so long as I had the capacity to change mindset, so long as I had the leadership skills to like secure projects, work with people, and make an impact in a positive way in certain
Mm.
local communities. I
Yeah.
continued doing what I was doing. So this is one of the reasons why I was also in the university since 2017 until 2024.
Oh,
So you'll be surprised that I graduated just a few months ago. It's not even up to a year yet. Just a few months ago, and I've been in the university to, uh, for for about 7 years. And some of my colleagues will be asking, why is Coconut graduating? Lalmota Coconut could graduate. He has not been telling us what's going on. Is it that he did not pass, or is it that people have been questioning, people have been talking, in my absence, and I've been hearing. But then I knew what I was doing, and I had a path. I had a vision, like I said, and I knew there was something bigger than just my education. There was something bigger than what I was doing. So this is why I focus more on that. And today, um, I am able to like initiate a nonprofit that not only provide capacity building but also empowers young people and women in the cultural sector, so they can be able to be financially independent and invest in their children's futures. So while I was doing this, it also built my leadership capabilities, like I said, and the Mandela Road Scholarship being a platform that offers young people, I mean, that picks out young people, unique young people from various countries in Africa who are actually making positive impacts in their various communities, or aspire to become leaders of their various countries, or aspire to make changes in their communities. These are the people that they pick out, and these are the people that they provide scholarships for. Also considering that they are not able to provide for themselves, like pay for their tuition, these are the leaders that they look for, the young people that they look for, and provide them with this opportunity, while in the process giving them more leadership skills in order for them to be able to make the change that they want to see back in their various communities. So um, along the way last year, I heard about the scholarship. I was told that it was a very competitive scholarship, but then I like to challenge myself. I said, you know what, let me just apply, who knows. I've applied to a lot of opportunities. I've failed a lot of times. I'll not lie to you, I've failed a lot of times. There are lots of opportunities that I've been looking forward to having, and I wasn't able to, and I'm still trying to get to a stage that I want to be. I'm still failing. And, what matters to me is not a failure. The number of failures, what matters to me is the fact that I tried, you know, um, and the impact that I can make, in the long run from these opportunities after having them. But then I still, even though I'm applying, even though I still believe in these opportunities, but then I know that with or without them, what I want to change, what I want to achieve, I am going to achieve it. So that strong commitment, that strong passion that I have is what keeps me going up to date. So this is basically when I applied for the Mandela. Um, Rhodes Scholarship. I was fortunate to be invited for an interview, which I attended, and it was very fruitful for me. Few weeks later, I was informed that I was selected. I also applied to different schools in the University of Cape Town, which includes the University of Cape Town, Stellenbosch University, and University of Wits. Um, Fortunately for me, I was selected to study at the University of Cape Town, and I'm now doing my postgraduate degree in management in entrepreneurship. So people actually call me the runaway accountant because when I graduated from the University of the Gambia, I didn't pursue any financial position. I didn't actually work in a bank or so. My friends call me the runaway accountant. I've had encounters where I was interviewed and then it was captioned the runaway accountant. But then one thing they don't understand is I am synchronizing my accounting background with my business background so I can help build businesses. Because today I work with international organizations like I've worked with international organizations like GIZ ECOWAS, UNDP through the Climate Promise Project, and the GIZ ECOWAS project through the FRSD Gambia pilot project, where I served as an independent consultant. For the first one, which is the GIZ, I was serving as an independent consultant to do a monitoring and evaluation for the FBS project, FRSD project, which is the Farmer Business School training project in over 50 communities within the Lower River region and the Upper River region. And I'm currently even working with Molo Association through the UNDP Climate Promise Project as an independent consultant, where I am providing training on business development, financial literacy, and management, pitching, and business plan development. So, being able to like use my finance skills and my business skills is giving me a leverage, compared to a lot of business consultants. Most of the people that I know, uh, they hardly like have both experience. They hardly have both skills. Most of them have either business skills or finance skills. But then personally for me, I've been able to like utilize both. I have an academic financial background and I have a professional business background. So synchronizing these two is what makes me unique, is what makes me different from most of the social entrepreneurs that are actually within the entrepreneurship ecosystem in the Gambia. And so far, I will tell you, I am able to train over 1,500 young people across the country, who on business development, financial literacy and management, business planning, and pitching, etc. And last year before last in 2023, I trained about 10 people how to pitch the various ventures. Five of them entered competition, and all five of them won, obtaining a total of 10,000 US dollars, that which they use to expand on their businesses. So these achievements I've been telling you, these engagements I've been into, most of them are voluntary engagements. Even though I know personally that I am not financially independent, but I still kept doing what I was doing. So this is why at some point I was asked whether I was financially independent when I wanted to start the Agro Incubation Hub, because it is a non-profit organization. I was like, no, I'm not financially independent, and the person was like, well, how can you be able to help other people when you can't help yourself?
Good question.
That
Yeah.
question really, 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 got me muted at some point. I didn't know what to say. Like I couldn't answer that question, and at some point it made total sense. I didn't only look at it at the negative side. I looked at it at the bright side as well. What I mean by that is, even though that I know there are two types of people, those that are fulfilled by the reward that they get from the activities that they do financially, and those that are fulfilled by the impact that they create in their various communities. Yeah, this is this is when I knew that yes, I am actually part of the people that want to make impact. I don't need to be financially independent to make impact. I've seen a lot of people who are financially independent, but what impact are they making, you know, in the country? So Even though I thought it that way, but I also thought about it at a different lens.
Now I'm gonna interject here because
Okay.
yeah, you've said a lot, and this part the reason why I'm interjecting is because usually the reason why you're getting that question, not financially independent, the let's say the protocol, for people to succeed, and you have actually taught them, lecture them, and then they become successful. So when you don't have, when you are not financially independent, it raises that question that you are encountering. And usually, in order to tell a successful story, you have to live it, walk the walk and live it. So most of the people that we see, we invite, they're invited. Most of the people invited to for interviews and other things, like I'll tell you, like Warren Buffett. He has his financial plans that make him a billionaire. So he's a living individual, because he walked the walk, and then he could practically be seen. So that's why you get in those questions, because it's just like when you go to a mother man, he tell you you're gonna be, I'll make you a rich man, and then he himself and his kids and his family never becoming rich. So how can you
Hmm.
believe in that mother man? Because if he
Yeah.
could,
Sure.
he would have done it
Hmm.
himself. I have nothing against
Yeah. Yeah.
monopoly, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
an
Sure.
example. So you being the person who designed these things for these people to be successful and win scholarships and win all these things, it
Hmm.
kind of raises a question. And in this platform, we ask questions. So that's why I want to interject there. But if you
Hmm.
can just clarify why that hasn't happened for you, and you can proceed there.
Yeah, if you can kindly polish the statement where you said why what hasn't happened to
Why
me
it
yet.
hasn't happened to you? Most of the people who are financially knowledgeable and
Yep.
financially become financially independent, they figure
Yes.
out a way,
Okay.
because they make impossible things possible. Because we've seen
Yes.
that people have made
Mm-hmm.
themselves self millionaires with no
Mm-hmm.
nothing
Mm-hmm.
inheritance. So
Mm-hmm.
if you, because they just know the protocol, either they're gonna borrow money from here and spend it from
Mm-hmm.
here, or they're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
this and do that.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say, that's why you're getting this question being raised. Why are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
financially independent? So
Yeah.
if that is that's a no, then that
Mm-hmm.
actually put you in the position that you are in right now. That I'm asking this,
Yes.
what
Yeah.
has gone wrong? What is missing? Why didn't happen?
Yeah. So that's a very interesting question, basically. So personally, for me, at some point, I I even had to ask myself that question. Why am I not financially independent? That's why I told you that I looked at it from the bright side as well, even though I thought it the way I thought it before. So I am the kind of a person that um, has this very, very crazy mindset that I put people's interests first, especially people that I know that are like really really need support, people that really need help, people that are not able to fend for themselves. Yeah, even though I am not financially independent, but I know very well that I can take care of myself, that there are people that need more support than I do, right? So considering the fact that I am more like a social type of person, I'm more like a social worker, I'm more like a social entrepreneur. Instead of focusing more on being financially independent, I focused more on how I can be able to support, how I can be able to make changes without getting the wealth, without getting the finance. So I was not really thinking about how to make money. I was basically thinking about how to make an impact. So that is one of the things that delayed the process you know so I because to answer your question, I wasn't focused more on how to make money. Yes, I have a finance background, and most of the time people think when you have a finance background you should be able to make money. you know it's basically different. It's harder than you think. I have business skills too. Someone asked me, if you are a business coach, if you are working to coach young entrepreneurs, making them successful in their businesses, why are you not running your own business? You see, that's another interesting question that I've been asked. Yeah. So, like I said, I was more focused on the people, how I can make money and how I can
So
make them make
so
money.
in other words, in other words,
So
there's no desire for you. It was not a goal. There's no desire for you
it,
to become rich.
yes, at the time, at the time, it was actually a goal. It was a goal, but it was not a priority goal. You know, my priority goal was to build my capacity, make an impact, and then money will come. That's the mindset that I have. You know,
Okay.
and
What
that's
about
still the
moving forward? What about
and
moving
that is
forward?
still the mindset I have. However, moving forward, I will tell you this. When I actually went into the agricultural sector and realized most of these changes, and coming from a farming community and seeing the changes I can make, I not only run a non-profit, I also decided to start a business, you know, and that's where the money making part comes in now. Yeah. Even though that I am passionate about making changes, I'm passionate about helping other people out there, you know, I also realized that for me to be able to lift other people, I also need to stand firm, you know. So this is one of the reasons why I decided to initiate a business. It's called Freshfield Farms. We grow habanero pepper and bell peppers, and then these are sold at a profit. And as I'm speaking to you right now, our peppers are almost ripe, and my team are currently working on it to sell, and we will be realizing funds soon enough. So to answer your question, moving forward, I've really realized and learned from that, and I'm really looking forward to also, being able to be financially independent, because it is important, not just for me, but for also my career path, because at some point, if I am not, if I'm not standing firm, I would not be able to lift others. I will not be able to help other people. So yeah, this is also now a goal that I am looking forward to achieving, and hence the reason why I am here to build my capacity in business academically, so I can be able to achieve that.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Coker. Moving forward, I understood that you are pursuing your master's in South Africa. I believe I'm right, right?
So it's a postgraduate diploma, not a master's.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
in
not a
management.
master's. Okay. In management at the moment, am I right?
In management in entrepreneurship.
Okay, very good. Can you tell us the situations like in your current standing as far as your education is concerned? How are you with the current situations in South Africa? Can you take us through, please?
All right, thank you very much. So I came here very late, because actually school started 2 weeks before I came. So I was really struggling to settle in, but thanks to MRF, that is the Mandela Rhodes Foundation, they were able to sort me out a few days after I came here. So looking for accommodation was pretty much very difficult for me, because when I came, then most of the student accommodations are already been booked, and some of them were supposed to leave like a month later. So I was like staying with a friend from Gambia, who was very helpful, and until I settled in after a few weeks, and I was able to now start doing what I had to do. However, in terms of school, I had to like um, being in a different environment sometimes can be very challenging, especially in
Yeah.
terms of the deliverables, the expectations and stuff. So I'm able to like network with my classmates and some of the colleagues that I've met who are also MRF scholars in the University of Cape Town. My colleagues in class have been very helpful since I came. especially the fact that I lost 2 weeks. So they've been very helpful, trying to help me catch up with class, with lectures, with assignments. And the lecturers are also really nice. I mean, they they provide they provided everything. They even made videos for us and shared with us because we missed some of these lectures. So it was really really helpful. And when I said because it's a different environment, so it can be challenging. Is I'm doing management in entrepreneurship, so most of the businesses that they use as case studies are actually South African businesses, and most of the assignments are basically around that area. So it's difficult for me to like, you know, because I don't know the South African market, I don't know the South African industry. It's usually very challenging for me to like get to understand how it works. So I need to do extra, just to catch up. I need to like
Okay.
study the market, study the industry, study the businesses, so I can be able to understand how to analyze these businesses, how to provide them with recommendations and stuff. So it's very different. And then the businesses, how business operate in South Africa and compared to back in Gambia, it's totally different. And the technologies that are used here, it's really, really, really different. And these are things that I'm really inspired to like research on, which I'm currently doing anyway. So looking forward to replicating them in the Gambian context. And yeah, I think this is the good part of have I mean learning in a different environment, because you tend to like learn new things that you can always replicate in your respective country. So yeah.
All right, Mr. Coker, let's look at the Gambia and that of South Africa. You've been, been at the University of the Gambia for, as you said, like 7 good years because of one, two reasons. Let's do some quick comparison between the Gambian education as far as the environment is concerned and that of South Africa. And we understand we are all African country, but like in terms of educational environment, what will be your thought on that particular questions with regards to education environment?
So the educational environment in Gambia and South Africa, in comparison, is uh, it's totally different. I mean, the University of Cape Town is actually at the next level compared to Gambia. The the technology that is used in school alone, makes the difference. Back in Gambia, I could remember, we struggled to like register. People queue manually to do stuff. Even most of the time, to register a course becomes a problem, and then you see that people attend classes outside sometimes. Most of the time when the classes are full in Gambia, you don't have a seat. You have to like stand outside and listen to your lecture, and then you are paying. It's not as if those that are in class are paying more than you are. You guys are paying the same tuition, if not even more. So this has always been a challenge back in the University of Gambia. And yes, we have very good lecturers. We have very qualified lecturers. That I mean, hands down. However, compared to the University of Cape Town, it's a lot. I mean, the University of Cape Town, when I came in here, everything was so smooth. My registration, you know, um, they have an application where all the lectures, is called Amatriba, where all the lectures are inserted in, I mean, instilled in the application. So you don't have to like request for lecture notes, because everything is there. Because in I can remember in the University of Gambia, we actually reach out to the lecturer requesting for lecture notes, and it's sent on WhatsApp groups and stuff. But with the University of Cape Town, it's different. You have all your lectures in one platform. You can always have it there. And assignments are not like given in class. Usually assignments are all shared in that application. Everything that has to do with our academics is basically shared in those applications. So we also have like uh, um, practical programs where we sell and make money. Especially in my program, we are expected to not only do our research, but also um, practically involved in business, that we have to initiate and register and um, make money while we're even doing our course here in South Africa. So it's a very, very, very flexible program, but also really, really practical. So I've been really learning a lot in terms of the different businesses we have in South Africa, in terms of how they've been able to decentralize to other countries, how they've been able to make money from these various businesses. So back in Gambia, it was most of the time theoretical. We have assignments, we have tests and exams, and that's it. We don't engage directly in business most of the time. So yeah, I believe this is one of the things I've seen so far. I've not been here for a while, but so far it has been so good, and we have a lot more coming up, and I'm looking forward to experiencing all of them. So yeah, all in all, in terms of comparing the two, these are some of the differences I've seen. Also, the environment and the resources that are provided, it's totally the best in here. I mean, every department has its own library. Every department has everything, and then anything that you need in the school, as far as you have access to your card, that's your student card, you're able to have access to it. We don't complain of resources. We don't complain of things that we need. You know, so when I say resources, I mean facilities, and most of the informations that we need, to be able to complete our courses, right? To be able to get information that we need, for our various programs. So in comparing that to Gambia, it's totally different because I could remember in Gambia, facilities usually is something that we complain of most of the time. But in here, or everything is being provided
Okay.
to the students.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think we lost Ousman, but I'm just gonna pick it back on because we have about less than 15 minutes to go on the show
Mm,
because the show is usually 1 hour.
mm.
So you've mentioned that that now you are studying in South Africa, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now your goal is to go back to the Gambia
Yes.
and started to work in the educational sector and try to make improvement. But you said that while you were there, you were able to impact a lot of projects, a lot of uh, you have to be able to create a lot of many groups to help sustain. I've heard you said that there was a rice farming. You mentioned something like that, agriculture and other
Mm.
aspect. If I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that, correct? Because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mentioned
sure.
other things, yeah. So while you are doing that and you are in the university, you are not able to complete on time because of all these
Mm.
endeavors that you are
Engagement.
undertaking. Was
Yeah.
that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and then also mentioned that you put people's interest first instead of
Mm.
you, and that was the reason why you couldn't become successful in becoming financially independent still.
Mm.
Okay, so putting all that context together, and me being someone who has a similar background because I'm fully involved with the community. I've also created my own nonprofit organization with some folks. I have also done many things within the community. So I just want to find out: do you now come to a position where you can balance what you have to do for the community and what you have to do for yourself in order to also be able to sustain yourself and your family? Because uh, having to accomplish all of that important. Having to be able to give back is some it's a sign or a symbol of humanity, to be very connected to humanity. and which is self satisfying because you're fulfilling that aspect of you, to make you feel like a better person or a good person, if I may, word it properly. My point here is that what is your goal going back to the Gambia? Are you planning to, get involved with those non-profit initiative, or are you trying to make a separation where you can, pursue your goal so that you can be financially independent, at the same time be able to be impactful in the community or on people's life?
Thank you so much. That's a very interesting question again, I would have to say. So, my plan, my goal is to go back to the Gambia and still continue with the work that I do, secure more projects, partner more with international organizations, and be able to support other people. Along the way, build my business so I can be able to make money for myself. So my long-term goal is to actually make the Gambia food self-sufficient by 2040. And along the way, I've realized that for me to be able to make that happen, I need to directly get involved, in the government. Someone once told me that for you to be able to make the Gambia food self-sufficient, you have to become president. I'm like, I've never wanted to be president,
So
but even
okay.
even even if it means me being president just to make the Gambia food self-sufficient, I'll have to take that risk because that's what I want. That's my aim, and that's something that I'll have to do. Even if it means that I have to do it. So aside that,
So
I
so,
want
so what,
to actually
one
build.
second, I will interject here. You want to make Gambia food sufficient?
I want to make the Gambia food self-sufficient. Yes,
So food self-sufficient.
yes.
Okay. The, the the reason why I'm asking, I'm trying to bring that out. You know that undertakes not even only the government. That is more, even beyond the government. If I may put this through, that has to be a collaborative work between, business partners and the importation and exportation and the people's the incentive for people to work, because
So
you can have
so the
you can
reason.
have you can have all the money, you can have all the tools, but if people are not, interested in doing the work, because the tool cannot do the work by themselves, so yes, it is possible, but this needs a total, sensitization, and also like incentive driven, where people will focus instead of back way, trying to go into agriculture because there are incentives there, and they can live sustainable life. If you see the West, basically people who farmers are richer, and then some of the things that are difficult to do or people don't want to do, if there's monetary reward, people tend to do it. Even garbage collection, cleaning, cleaning people, they are rewarded massively. So my point here is that this has to be all beyond the government protocol. It has to be a nationwide effort. So I just
The
want.
reason why I mentioned the government here is because take it this way: the president is in a better position to get this collaboration done. Lead the people of the country to achieve that together. So that is the reason why I said, even if it means becoming president, for me to be able to achieve that, because I know I can't do it alone. I can't be able to make the Gambia food self-sufficient by myself, or with the little network that I have. So it's like you said, it's a collaborative effort. It involves government, it involves private sector, it involves international organizations, it involves everyone. Everyone have to be like, all hands should be on deck. So for the reason why I mentioned that is because that position is being in that position is easier to be able to achieve that in time than doing it alone as a private sector.
So
So basically,
so
that's just my
technically,
point. However,
technically, are you eyeing for a presidency?
basically, I wouldn't say yes. I wouldn't equally say no. I think I am eyeing for making the Gambia food self-sufficient. So if it means being a
No,
president,
you could.
I
I
would
mean,
have to do it.
people have an early, you know, ambition or early, like way of picturing things. If this is a goal that you wanna put, you might not put it out there now, but if it is that a goal that is on the table, then you might as well prepare for it, and then probably people maybe start reaching out, because that's another thing I always tell people. It's a very big undertaking, because you want to
Yeah.
get the nation under your shoulder. And then another thing that I was gonna ask you is that you don't have to be president to do certain things, but you can be an influencer. You can be an influencer. It doesn't mean solely, like I said, even the president alone cannot do this. But you can be an influencer. If you come and say, I want to influence, I want to be part of this movement, make it happen, I would totally agree. That's possible. The way you can be an influencer is perhaps when you become rich, like you have money. That's another way. And secondly, by, like you said, tapping into and mobilizing stakeholders. That's another way. And also, like
So
be a pioneer of something. Which village are you from? Which town or village?
I am from Nyomi.
Nyomi. Okay, so if you started doing, Nyomi irrigations or something like that, or doing, since like, starting with Nyomi, you started doing projects there that are reference to food sustainability, and people would say, Muhammad Koka has done this here. Let's emulate it. It's doable in Bansang. It's doable in Swarekunda. It's doable in different villages and cities and towns. So I would start with that, because again, you cannot just talk without practical efforts. It's all
So
is all.
as we speak, we did not we initiated the agro incubation hub in 2023. So far, we have able to empower 7 communities within the West Coast region.
Within what?
This includes we've been able to empower over 7 communities within the West Coast region. These are CAFOs in these 7 communities who actually own hectares of lands, more like a community garden, where we've been able to empower them through our engagements. So like you said, it's important to start now, and I don't need to be president to be able to do that. I'm not saying that I have to be president for that to happen. All I'm saying technically is my aim is to make the Gambia food self-sufficient. So even if it means, because some of my friends told me, you need to be in a position where you can be able to influence that, for you to be able to make that happen in time. So we're looking at time here, in a sense that being in that position is easier and faster for that to happen than being in the private sector. So uh, that I considered, but my point here is I aim to make the Gambia food self-sufficient, and I have started doing that since 2023. So even if it means that I have to be a president for that to happen, I will. So that's how far I am willing to go in order to make sure that I make that happen. I don't know if you get my point.
No, no, I got your point. Since the initial iteration, all I'm trying to
Yeah.
say is that the undertaking of that
Mm.
is beyond you, either as
Yeah,
a
sure, of
president
course.
or as an individual. So if
Yeah,
you
it's a
are looking at
collaborative effort.
collaboration effort, like you say, you have we. As I had you said, we have made West Coast this and that. That
Mm,
we need to come out more, because
mm,
it has to be we, including
mm,
myself. Maybe, perhaps I will be part of your team, but it has to be
mm,
that we to make it happen, because I
mm,
know how things work in that
mm,
area, even in the government sector. Look at the President Barrow.
mm,
He always said that he alone cannot do it. I once met him, and he said that I said, create jobs. He said the private sectors, and then and other entities has to we created the loopholes and then the environment, but they have to create jobs. So he himself knows that he cannot create jobs by himself. So that's why I'm saying that we need to come out. You want to be part of those who can make that happen, and maybe pioneer it, but it cannot be only you. That's the area that
Obviously,
I'm gonna sell you. Yeah.
yeah,
So
obviously, I think that's very
and you
true.
don't have to be president.
Of that's
That can happen.
that is why I believe in collaboration. That is why I believe in partnership. And the reason why our projects have been successful is because of collaboration. The reason why we've been able to empower these communities is because of collaboration. The reason why I have been able to get to this stage is because of collaboration. So this is something that I am very, 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 committed to,
And then
and I
can
believe.
you also um identify some of the people that you have collaborated with?
Yeah, so we've been able to work with the Young African Leaders Initiative through the YALI program, and we've been able to like secure funding that enabled us to do our initial training. We've been able to partner with Authority Group. It's a US non-profit that support young founders in Africa to elevate their organizations. We've been able to also work with GCCI, actually through consultancy. We've been able to work with um, Green Up Gambia, not directly, but then this is something that we are looking forward to. We are currently also looking forward to working with West 8 through their projects in order to be able to empower more farmers. So consistently we are reaching out. We've reached out to the government themselves, and then to no avail. We've not received any fundings or partnership commitments yet. But then we are still not giving up, and we're still continuing that. So meanwhile, we are a startup initiative, and our aim is to get more partners, influence more people to work with us so we can be able to like reach more farmers and empower more of them, especially those that are in marginalized communities.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So I think Usman still hasn't been maybe went off, but I just
Mm-hmm,
wanna elaborate more. I think you're doing an awesome job in terms of you know doing all what you're doing. You have a
mm-hmm,
successful story that most of the people can relate to. I know
mm-hmm,
many people have the similar success.
mm-hmm,
Now, can you summarize in one or few words why your
mm-hmm.
story is different from stories like myself, stories like others who started from nowhere, get themselves through, through education, through working their way out from basically from nowhere to somewhere. Could you summarize what makes you stand out or different?
So what I feel makes me different is the fact that I am committed to my cause, the fact that I am passionate about what I do, the fact that I don't need to get an academic background in agriculture for me to be able to make the change in the sector. The fact that I am very I embrace the people that I work with, the fact that I am able to like influence a lot of people to commit to the same cause. The fact that I've been able to inspire my colleagues to also be able to believe in farming. The fact that I've been able to change mindsets, within this short period of time. The fact that I've been able to uh, partner and work with people who believe in what I do, who believe in me, and the fact that I am able to make all these changes, I believe, is what makes me different. The fact that I am also really, really in love with what I do, like even without being paid financially, and I'm still doing it. I'm still committed to the cause over the years. and I don't think I would ever stop. This is something that I believe makes me different. Even though I've received a lot of negative energies from different people, at some point I could have given up, but I did not. You know, I still committed to my cause. I still continued doing what I was doing, and I'm still doing it, even though I'm in school in South Africa. I'm still working with my team to achieve some of these things. The fact that I've been able to build a team to work towards to continue our projects in my absence, I believe is also one of the things that makes me different. So another thing that makes me different is the fact that despite where I find myself at the end of the day, my aim is to go back to the Gambia and work towards, you know, um, making the Gambia food self-sufficient. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but that's the aim that I have.
Yeah. So you mentioned you have a team. How is this team, and how do you manage to have a team, and what are the things that this team does?
So I've been able to gather a team over the years, and we've been working on the projects together. Like I said, I've not been doing things alone. Um, this team are mostly universities. Most of them are university graduates for now, and some of them are currently pursuing. We have also volunteers who also work with us that are currently from the university. Two of our teammates are agricultural experts. Um, Another is no, three of them are agricultural experts. One of them is a finance expert, and others are into HR and economics and mathematics. So they have various skills, and they came from a diverse background. So working with them has been very, very, very fruitful. We've been able to learn from each other. We've been able to connect. We've been able to build a bond where we are able to like implement our projects successfully together. You know, be there for each other along the way. And yeah, it's more like a family now, not just a team. So we steer the affairs of the agro incubation hub, and a few members of the team also work with me at the fresh field farms where we grow vegetables.
Okay, that's good. And then also, you mentioned that um, your goal is still to keep uplifting people, and then even though you are being criticized for it, can you tell us like what are some of the criticism you receive from your peers or people in general?
Yeah, some of the civilized criticism, I call them,
Constructive,
is that
you can also call it constructive criticism.
constructive.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the criticism I receive is that like the one I shared on LinkedIn, that I am not financially independent. So why am I helping other people when I cannot be able to help, when I am not able to help myself financially? I mean, that's one. And some of them have been saying, if you have been supporting businesses and they've been succeeding, why are you not running your own business and succeed in it? So these are the two. Some of the criticism directly from the
Is there any other beside that?
Yes, there are others. Some people belittled me at some point, especially when I could remember when I went to a community. Most of the farmers that I train are elders, so they tend to like look down on you because you're a kid, and then you're the one providing them with these trainings. So they don't really, look at you as they don't give you the respect that you deserve, even though you give them the respect that they deserve. So not
This
everybody though, but certain communities usually look down
can
on
you
you, and then you know
yeah
when you speak to them on the phone, they're very accommodating. However, when you meet them, oh, in Madinka, they say Nyindindi
you
mer.
know in the numero. So how old are you?
Nyindindi.
By the way, that makes me ask this question. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're not a
but I
kid, but
I look
you're still
I
young.
look I look I look I look younger than my age though. So. So yeah,
That's even
actually I
that
live
even that
in
even
the
make it
street,
worse, right?
yeah, exactly. So that's
Only
the thing.
control
So
directing.
people,
Yeah, everything back on below.
so exactly. So imagine like having sessions with them and you're telling them what to do. So basically, I don't use that approach. What I do is like I use our, one thing I believe is that what makes us different as Gambians is the level of coexistence among us and the level of tolerance that we have. So what I do is I use our ethnic differences to like,
Ema fo ko
make jokes.
londo buka na keba ni yala.
Exactly. Ito po kaya lang din. So yeah. So I use ethnic groups as a way to like to connect with them. Like I am Sere, for example. I usually make fun of the Fulas, and some of the Mandinkas in a way that they make me like they feel like I'm a part of them. So that's
Part
one of
of
the
them. Yeah,
ways that I yeah.
you use the style, Baro style. You know, technical. I mean, you use the tribal connection.
Exactly, the tribal connection. Thank you. So yeah, and then not just that, even with the deliberations, most of the time when we have sessions, I give them the floor to like decide on the rules, everything that they want. Like, you
Like
know,
like like
I
someone
don't, I
like me
don't.
who has a fuller background. I would use the
Mhm.
fuller seed. I would tell them that I'm Sawaneh. So I said I police. I would tell them that you are my this thing. What do you call it? Sano. So you use
See,
any
see.
tool you get, in order to
Yeah,
make things.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, so over the years, I've been able to build like a whole family in these communities. I've been almost to every community in the country through these projects. Some of them even were planning to like give me their daughters as
They do.
wives. They were actually some of them.
Imagine if you had to say, you know, all this yes to all these daughters, you
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
will marry another 4 or 5 wives.
I'm telling no, about 10, 15 of them.
You probably go over the board.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. I mean, it's been really, really, a journey. And then the good thing about it, I mean, the good thing about it is when you like provide them with these opportunities and they see themselves in it and they see the changes themselves and they start making money, and then they come back to you and say thank you for the effort. You have done this for us. That gratitude, that change that is being made is what actually continues to keep me
To
going.
motivate you.
That is why, so at some point I just forget about making money. So so, so
Okay.
yeah, I mean that has
Yeah.
been a challenge in terms of balancing the two, that is my social work and my um, personal work, in terms especially being financially independent. But yeah, I'm quite sure one day, it might not be today or tomorrow, but it will
Yeah.
happen.
Well, I mean, this is an interesting story, and I'm pretty sure our viewers would definitely enjoy
I'm
your
not getting you.
narration.
I don't know. You're breaking.
No, no, I'm saying this is a interesting story, and I'm pretty sure
I'm
our
not
viewer.
getting you.
You you cannot hear me?
Are you muted? I'm not getting you.
No, no, I'm not muted. I'm on mute. No,
No,
I'm
I can
saying
hear
that.
you.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know what you're saying. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello? Check your end, because I'm good here. I am good over here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm okay.
I can't hear you.
Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Oh, I don't know what happened. Something must have happened. Can you hear me?
I think it's your network.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Let
think
me
it's your network.
let me come out
I
and
don't
come in
know
again.
if you can
Let me
hear me,
come out.
but it's your network,
Let me come in.
because it's not saying anything at all.
Hold on one. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I don't know. Maybe I should go off and come back and see. Let me do that because you've been doing that and it hasn't changed.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, maybe we have to go off and come back. All right, so that's
Yeah.
it from yeah. So anyway, let's conclude this. We are over 1 hour, and again,
Okay.
I think this will help. Your story will be something that our viewers would benefit,
Mm-hmm.
and I will look forward to have you for more other topics.
Yeah.
Perhaps, if you have any interesting topic beside your story as a scholar, we will
Mm-hmm.
be able to explore that. If you have any other
Mm-hmm.
ideas or any areas in within humanity or Gambian,
Mm-hmm.
Gambian aspect, we
Mm-hmm.
definitely looking forward, to get that discussed here on
Yeah.
this platform.
Yeah. Sure.
This new global platform is open. It's an open platform on Sundays. We have other programs like sporting
Mm-hmm.
events that we
Mm-hmm.
discuss during the week, and also
Mm-hmm.
like like enlightenment show that Ousman
Mm-hmm.
hosts.
Mm-hmm.
However, we are here Sundays to discuss trending issues, and
Mm-hmm.
also bring people who have successful stories to talk about them,
Yeah.
what they've been through. So our viewers can also benefit from that, because through
Mm-hmm.
association, through like relating to stories, you can also be inspired to develop and continue to strive for better.
Mm-hmm.
So we thank you for coming, and definitely your final thoughts to our viewers.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was really an honor sharing my story, which has inspired a lot of people. And I'm still, grinding. I failed. I'm still failing, and I'm still going. And I hope one day this all would be a story to tell. And I hope one day that my aims are achieved, and I also hope to see the change that I want to make in the long run. So thank you very much for having me once again. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you, and enjoy
Yeah,
your
thanks
studies
so
in
much.
South Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, take care. Thank you, all viewers. We'll catch up next week, inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah.